I got to thinking about the concept of objective versus subjective trading and how do you navigate the minefield of bias or the pit you could fall into if you are a subjective trader. Well, I think most traders start off as being subjective. When I was flying, we used to call it, fly by feel and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes if you try to fly by feel, it gets you in trouble because let's say you are in a cloud cover, your feelings will lie to you. And it's amazing how if you're not using your objective instruments, you wind up crashing, making a big smoking hole in the ground because you think you're right side up, but most of the time, the pilots, they're not. They're inverted and they're heading down, but they're just as happy as can be because their feelings are telling everything's okay because they can't see. So the objective and subjective training for me is I want to help people deal with that. Have you ever heard of I think it's OODA loop? The OODA loop is a military concept that was divided by actually an Air Force colonel. OODA stands for Observe, Orient, Decide, and Act. And it's a strategic tool utilized to improve decision making. The thing that, while this is there and we may be aware of it, think for many traders, occasionally they jump immediately to the take action mode. And that's what gets them into trouble. They jump because they don't consider having rules. They're doing it by the seat of their pants. So observe first, gather the latest information from your environment. Makes sense? And we're talking tactical stuff here, folks. Orient, analyze the information and use it to update your current reality. That helps get rid of bias. D stands for decide, which is based on your orientation, make a decision, and then A, act. Execute your decision, then return to the observation step to start watching what happens. I think it was Mark Douglas who said that we need to become expert observers of the market and not necessarily action takers of the market because we can learn a lot by taking a observation. So, what does this do for us? One, it reduces our emotional bias by starting with observation and orientation. And traders can then, their decisions are based on data and analysis rather than gut feelings or emotions, and thus reducing the influence of the two headed monster, fear and greed. Promotes adaptability. The loop encourages continued reassessment, continuous improvement. That's one of the things I sat and went to a class with Charles Deming, the guy who did the continuous improvement stuff many years ago before he passed away. And that was one of the things he says, always look to be continuously improving your process. It improves your decision speed, which I think is absolutely right because it allows you to put your checks in the block very quickly and then make faster trading decisions because if it doesn't meet your trading criteria, you what? You pass on the trade. And then the orienting requires a comprehensive analysis. And so it just encourages that analysis to take into various considerations and factors. And last but not least, it avoids premature actions. That was one of my big things, Neil. When I first started trading, I was constantly either jumping into a trade too early or jumping out of a trade too early. And I overcorrected then, and I would get in too late and stay too long. And so my loop was busted. You know what I'm saying?
Think the key thing I picked out from what you just said, as far as I'm concerned, is the decision speed.
Ah,
And the decision speed is very important to take the timely actions.
yep.
Because if you don't do it, whether you're getting in or getting out, if you thought it through, decision speed should not be a problem.
Do you talk about decision speed? Because I always suggest to folks, especially if you're a swing trader, to make your decisions outside market hours because when it reduces emotional decision making And secondly, I think it actually can reduce your fumbling or fat fingering trade entries and exits, which I know we've all done, made that mistake. So do you do that? Do you put your orders in before the market, after the market's closed, during non-market hours?
Uh, no, what I usually do is I do it between, let's say, 3 or 4 o'clock.
Okay. So final hour.
Yeah, basically in the final hour after. I know day before what I really want to do, but I wait usually
Okay.
final hour.
And that's really wise. I agree with that. The final hour, I think, is really awesome time to do that because one, all the noise for the day is gone. And the candlestick that's left during that final hour is typically pretty accurate story of what the candlestick's trying to tell you. What could be your beacon in these struggling times, tumultuous seas? Get on board the premium membership, and you can discover and illuminate your path. But we offer a good 3 month test flight. Check it out, see if it's a fit for you. We've got a lot of traders over on the Discord channel that are absolutely knocking it dead. I love how we are all over there and have a wonderful community coaching each other up and helping each other. So I'll put a link down in the description.